of veterans who are looking for jobs and are willing to work in part-time positions, which might lead to full-time positions, they'll be able to apply for that. One of the fine initiatives. Another one that we just passed in the budget, we were trying to get a certain amount of state contracts set aside for veteran-owned business, disabled veteran-owned businesses. Okay, and it was a holdup for years. And I made it one of the priorities, talking to my staff up in Albany. This is what I want to get this done somehow. Finally, the governor stepped in. When the governor steps in, it's a wonderful thing. Okay? What the governor wants, the governor gets, and the governor said he was going to have a 6% set aside for all state contracts to be considered for disabled-owned businesses, and that was passed just before we passed the budget. So another initiative that, trying to help out our veterans who are helped so much. Currently, I'm working on a bill. We all know veterans have certain problems, okay? They serve their time, they risk their lives, and then when they come out, they can't find a job in many cases. In many cases, they're suffering from traumatic brain injury, okay, which is suppressed. They don't even know about it. They have so many needs, but all they want to do when they get out of the Army, when they're discharged, is just to go. They don't even want to stick around to hear what their benefits are in too many cases. And then they end up homeless, without a job, and having these mental health issues. What I am trying to do in the state of New York is get what we would call a veteran village established. So veterans who fit that category I was just telling you, okay, can go to, free of charge, live there for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, so they can decompress, sort of, from the Army, where they can get job training, where they can get many of their mental health issues addressed. We've heard of too many tragedies throughout the nation, okay, of shootings that are going on, families breaking up. And no one mentions the kids, by the way, okay, who are affected. When dad or mom go off, the loving dad, the loving mom, and then they come back and now they're a completely changed person, okay, because of what they've experienced. They need this. And so what I'm developing is a veteran village proposal where they can go. Now what I'm planning to do is, throughout the past few years, the governor has shut down many state facilities, okay, throughout the state. So we have these empty buildings in the state. And accompanying that, the governor has set aside economic development money to redevelop these areas where these buildings that used to employ so many people have shut down. Well, why don't we create a veterans village in these buildings, okay, and use that economic development money to fund the personnel who's going to work there, okay? And part of this whole component is the mental health issues that many of the veterans have can be treated best in, it's been proven, peer-to-peer settings, okay? Former vets talking to present vets. One of the problems you have is that you don't have enough counselors who are trained in this area. So part of the Veteran Village program that I want to set up will be a component where we will have special training for veterans who want to be veteran counselors, okay? So they can counsel their own compatriots, okay, as they come home in these veteran villages and throughout the entire state of New York and in other areas too. So my focus has been quite a bit on the veterans over the first half of the year. Locally, I just want to mention, I've been addressing one of the major problems that we have and are going to have, okay, with all the travel and transportation issues that we're going to face in this area, with the building of Bay Plaza, the extension, with the further development of the Hutch Metro Center, with the new Target Mall going up, with the new golf course going up, with the outlet center at Bruckner Boulevard. All of these wonderful, wonderful projects that mean so much for the Bronx and the people in the Bronx, okay, are going to create a lot of traffic coming into our area, going on and going off and so on. I've started this conversation with the governor and the lieutenant governor's office three and a half years ago about impressing upon them the importance of this projects and how we have to get better transportation arteries to get people in and out of these places, okay? I put a couple of $1 million in last year's budget targeted to, number one, fix the exit coming off at Bay Plaza, which will lead directly into the Bay Plaza extension, okay? That project is now being started and it's supposed to be completed in the next couple months before the mall opens. What it will do is will elongate that exit so cars can pull over and start getting off, about a quarter of a mile before the exit. And that hopefully will end some of the congestion we have. It'll also widen it from 1 to 2 lanes. Okay, last month, 2 months ago or so, I called together because I was just frustrated that things were moving so slowly on this part. So I called upon all of the interested parties together for a big meeting. Okay, I got the governor's office down. I had the state DOT, the city DOT. I had city planning down there, and I had the Thruway Authority, along with the builders, because they're part of this equation too. And so I had the Bay Plaza builders down there. I had the Hutch Metro Center represented, and the Target Mall, as well as the Trump Organization is doing the golf course. All there to sit down and let's get together and find out what we got to do and what we can do and what's feasible for the short run, for the long run, and for the longer run, maybe going into 10, 15 years, okay? Because that's the way you got to think for a project of this size, okay? I got a commitment from the city DOT that they are taking charge of something which was never done, remarkably unbelievable, that no one said who was going to take charge of doing all the planning. Well, the city DOT has given me that commitment. I have been in constant touch with the Connie Moran, who's the Bronx Commissioner. She's been reaching out to city planning and all of the different agencies on the state level to put together the plans of what has to be done. So we're working feverishly on that, just too important. I'm going to stop there because I probably can go on and so on. You got other business, but I'll do whatever you guys want.
Just one question. I read recently where a guy who was on the fireman's list went to Afghanistan, came back,
Yeah.
the list was terminated, and the city of New York put him back on the list. Now, we talk about doing for the veterans, and this is a simple thing for the city of New York. It's unconscionable that they would do a thing like that.
Julian?
Anything you and your colleagues can do to help?
Here's what I want you to do. Send me an email so I don't forget that. It's a good point, and we'll do something.
That's great.
About a couple of years ago, on a similar matter, what would happen would be you have a couple, a single mother who's in the army. She goes off to Afghanistan, to Iraq, wherever she went, okay? And she has custody of the child, so she leaves the child with her parents to take care of while she is away, okay? She goes away, and what happens? The ex-husband takes custody of the kid, okay? And she can't get him back when she got it. I brought that to the attention of the former, we introduced the bill, and we got that changed, okay? It's things like this that we want to hear. We can do legislation, and you send me that information, and we'll look into the legalities of that, and we'll change it if we can. That's a good idea, Julian. Louis?
Michael, the veterans voice is a great